It's a show that I am very excited about. It's a show that we will be doing the watch along on the channel for. And as I said, cannot wait to get stuck into these predictions. And just really for this week to begin, because this whole week is the go-home week. As we said, so exciting. This must have been what it was like as we were building towards SummerSlam 1992, because that was the last great UK show that we got from like a stadium here in the UK. So yeah, really, really excited. So with that being said, let's get straight into it. What I want to do is go through the predictions, and then obviously we'll jump to the chat, get your thoughts. So probably going to do about an hour. First 20 minutes, 30 minutes will be the predictions, and then we'll get into the chat and we'll get into your thoughts. So let's get started, shall we? And we're going to start with the Intercontinental Championship match. So this is Gunther taking on Sheamus, and this is going to be a barn burner. This could steal the show. I think the main event steals the show, because what I think happens there is going to have big repercussions. But I think this, in-ring wise, could absolutely steal the show. So we've got Gunther taking on Sheamus. Obviously great for Sheamus because Wales very close to Ireland, just literally over the water. I would imagine there'll be plenty of Irish people in that stadium that will be behind Sheamus. Obviously Gunther as well from Austria. I don't know that we're going to get too many Austrian people, but obviously representing Europe, if you will. So, yeah, this is just a really great Clash at the Castle clash. And I think it's going to be a fantastic match. Hard-hitting. It's going to be brawling. They're going to be chopping each other. There's going to be blood and marks. I mean, both of their chests after this are going to be absolutely red raw. I would imagine that both of them are going to need a couple of days to recover from this encounter. I don't think it's going to be any big surprise. I expect Gunther to win. I expect Gunther to win because it doesn't make much sense to take the title off him now and put it onto Sheamus. Obviously, Butch and Ridge are going to be involved because they are with Sheamus. Both of those are English, so it's important they're on this show. They'll get a really good reaction. You might even get Pete Dunne chants. If I was there, I would be chanting Pete Dunne. I would be making it very clear that we do not want Butch anymore. And I don't know if you've seen the images coming out of SmackDown that was taped. Nothing major. I don't feel like this is a big spoiler. But the SmackDown that was taped, Pete Dunne is not back, but he is kind of back wearing his old ring gear. So he has a match against, I think it's Ludwig, and he's not wearing the Butch clothes. He's wearing the Pete Dunne singlet. So it could just be a step in that direction, but it's a very welcome step. So yes, we don't know quite where we're going with Pete Dunne and Butch and all of that. It feels very much like a Vince character. Vince has gone. Triple H surely knows the right way forward is to bring back Pete Dunne. So, yeah, keep an eye on that situation. But, yeah, this first match, Intercontinental Championship match, Gunther retains. Next up, we have got Liv taking on Shayna now. Liv beating Ronda, I can't buy. I just can't buy it, right? I can't accept that she's better than Ronda. And in all fairness, WWE can't as well. Hence why we got that screwy finish at SummerSlam. Now, that did a lot of harm. It did a lot of harm to the point where she was being booed. They were saying you tapped out the night after SummerSlam. Those kind of chants have definitely settled down, though. And I think the further we get away from SummerSlam, the easier this is going to be for Liv. SummerSlam was a misstep. There's no two ways about it. It was bad booking. It happens. You can't get everything right. But, now we need to move on from that. The only thing that I would say is a bit of a problem is it's hard to move on from it when she tapped. And in my eyes, she's not the rightful champion. Every time she keeps coming out saying, I'm still your SmackDown Women's Champion, I kind of think, no, you're not, because you tapped out and you shouldn't have that belt, right? Just being straight up honest right now. Yeah, I'm the kind of person that they are, I'm guessing, trying to win over, trying to get on board the Liv Morgan hype train, because I don't care about Liv, right? I'm not a Liv fan. I'm not a Liv simp. Yeah. If you're a Liv fan, that doesn't make you a Liv simp. Let's get this nice and clear. Yeah. You can be a fan, but there are simps out there as well. I think we can all agree. Yeah. You've all seen the simp accounts that simp over her. Yeah. That might be you. That might not be you. Right. You can be a fan. You could be a simp. I'm not really either, to be honest. Right. I don't mind her. I've got nothing against her. But they're not giving me any reason to get into this title reign. They're not giving me any reason to get into it. The only thing of note that has happened in this title reign is she tapped out. She tapped out, right? So, for me, this is very difficult. I personally, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I would take the belt off her. I would take the belt off her and I would flip in start again. Because I think you take the belt off her, and then what you do is you show her training, which I said this before, show her practicing jiu-jitsu, yeah? Show her training and improving her skills, and then make it believable that she can go toe-to-toe with a Becky, she can go toe-to-toe with a Bayley, she can go toe-to-toe with a Sasha, a Ronda, a Shayna, whoever, right? And surprise, surprise, what are we seeing on social media? But Riddle and Liv training jiu-jitsu. I mean, flippity-doo-dah, right? The only problem is, it's too little too late. Like, you can't keep the belt on her and do this stuff and expect that to be good enough for me to now be backing her and supporting her. Like, oh, she's training jiu-jitsu. Oh, that's cool. Like, I don't give a flip. She shouldn't have this belt. Right? Take the belt off her first, then do the training, then give it her back. Yeah? Make her a 2-time SmackDown Women's Champion. If you are a Liv fan, yeah? I think you would like the idea of her being a 2-time Women's Champion. Yeah? I think you can get on board with that, yeah? Not hating on you, girl. I'm just saying, take the belt off her. That run was ruined. They botched it. They messed it up. SummerSlam was a mistake. Yeah? So let's take the belt off her. Then we do the jiu-jitsu. Oh my God, look at her. She's learning new skills. Isn't she amazing stuff? Then we give her the belt back. Yeah, that's my plan. Said it from SummerSlam. Nothing has changed. That's the way we should go. But that's not the way we're going. And I think Liv retains here, to be honest. After all of that, right, I think Liv does retain. It's not what I would book. It's not the right way forwards, or it's not what I think's the right way forwards. It's not what I would book. I've been very clear on what I would book, but I think that they are all aboard the Liv train, and I think that they're just ploughing forward regardless. Yeah, if some of you don't like the fact of what happened at SummerSlam, tough. Deal with it. That is WWE's mentality. So. Which is fine. That's fine. You know, if that's the way they want to play it, it's fine. It's just not, I just don't know how they're going to win me round to this Liv Morgan title reign. But maybe they don't care about me and they don't care about other people out there that aren't on board. They're more focused on the people that are. So that's fine. That's fine. It's all like fine. I would like to be on board, but it's fine. But I think, yeah, she gets the victory here. And how is she going to get the victory? A couple of interesting things. She has been training jiu-jitsu with Riddle, and Shayna has been doing a little bit of work with Ronda. There was an interesting clip that came out of Shayna and Ronda kind of having a disagreement again because Ronda wanted to keep working on this move, and Shayna was like, nah, I've got it. Look, it's only Liv. And that kind of stuff is like, that rings alarm bells. It's only Liv, yeah? So, you know, even Shayna's like going, it's only Liv. So, I think that we're going to see, I don't know if she beats her clean. If she does beat her clean, it's not as bad as a beating Ronda clean. I mean, in no world should Liv Morgan be beating Shayna Baszler clean, because Shayna Baszler is a former UFC fighter. got to the point where she was even fighting the likes of Amanda Nunes. If you look at her social media, all she does all the time is just train grappling. She talks about some absolute combat legends, talks about Billy Robinson, like her mentor. She was like talking all about, Judo Jean LaBelle when Jean LaBelle passed away. This is the kind of stuff you don't get from Liv. What you get from Liv are just photo shoots and things like that, her posing for a birthday or something. Whereas with Shayna, her social media is about fighting and about combat and things like that. There is no realm, no world that Liv should be beating Shayna. But Shayna has been booked so badly that I can believe it. I can buy it. I can accept it because Shayna's just not been used very well on the main roster. So, yeah, I've got Liv winning. Not a big fan of it. It's not going to be like a highlight of the show for me. This title reign, as I said, just not really feeling it at all. But I wish I was. I've got nothing personal against Liv. I just think they botched this title reign. And I don't know what happens. I don't know if Shayna loses clean and gets frustrated and maybe turns, or I don't know. There's something in her training with Ronda and Ronda saying, like, I know it's only Liv, but you've got to put the work in. And Shayna being like, nah, I've got it. There's something in that, I feel. I feel there's something in her overlooking Liv. And I think they're going to actually try to make Liv credible here with a clean win. And then Ronda maybe starts having a go at Shayna. Shayna then lashes out at Ronda. I can see the Shayna-Ronda feud coming. I think we all can. So I feel like that deals with some big problems for Liv as well, because, look, if Liv's going to be defending against Carmella, Liv will win that all day long. If she's going to be defending against Zelina Vega, she wins that all day long. If she's defending against Ronda, that's a problem. So a Shayna-Ronda feud right now just gets them out of the way. And I kind of think that's probably best for Liv at the moment, is to, get these killers out the way. So, but there could be another killer coming back, and we'll talk about that later. Right, let's move on. So, in our second match, I've got Liv retaining. Then we've got Riddle taking on Seth. This is another strange one because we was meant to get this at SummerSlam. And, we were meant to get it at SummerSlam, and we never got it. They made out that Riddle was injured. Apparently, he's not injured. But they just wanted to save it for Clash. Now, I don't really know why. I don't know. I don't know if the SummerSlam card was felt that it had enough. I don't know if they have got plans to do just a couple of matches. Because what I think happens is I think Seth needs a win. I think they give Seth the win here. And then I think we do the rematch at Extreme Rules, and that's where Riddle wins. And perhaps they're just going to leave this 1-1. Because if you did SummerSlam and Clash and Extreme Rules, that would be 3 matches, and then there would be a winner. And I think Riddle would have to win it. So perhaps they're looking at it thinking, well, SummerSlam's got enough. Let's save this match for Clash. We'll do Clash, we'll do Extreme Rules. We'll make it 1-1, and that'll be the end of this feud. So I'm wondering if that was part of the thinking. I really don't know. It's a question as to why would you delay it? Because apparently Riddle was not legitimately injured. They just said he was injured. So I've got to think that they felt there was enough on that SummerSlam card. So I'm going to go with this is the match. It's not the only time they face. I think they could run the rematch at Extreme Rules, because this feud feels like it deserves Extreme Rules. It deserves weapons. So I'll go with Seth winning here. Riddle wins at Extreme Rules. That'll be the end of the feud. And that'll be it then. So nice and simple. I will go with Seth Rollins. Next, we've got all the women. We've got Bayley, Io, and Dakota taking on Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. So this is a 6-woman tag match. I'm going with Bianca, Asuka, Alexa. The reason why is because I think on Monday, tomorrow, at the time of recording this, I think that we will get new women's tag champs. We know we will. We know the final is tomorrow on Raw. And I think it will be Dakota and Io. So I think Dakota and Io are going to be the new women's tag champs. I think they come into Clash with those championships. And I think that they have got a lot to shout about because of that. Because don't forget, they managed to get one over Asuka and Alexa, which got them to the final. So I feel like there's a bit of revenge that's needed here. Bianca, Alexa, Asuka need to kind of get one over on Bayley, Io, and Dakota. It's been quite even. It's not been the best build in the world. Obviously, these three arriving at SummerSlam, and we know that Becky was meant to be involved, but then Becky got injured. So, I mean, look, this would be crazy if Becky was in this match, but there is no Becky. We've got Alexa. It's good to see her getting some. Asuka, always great to see her on a show. Bianca, super over. Yeah, I can see there being a lot going on here. I can see Bianca and Bayley going on to have a bit of a feud. Bianca and Bayley could definitely face at Extreme Rules. But I just think maybe we get similar to what I just said. Perhaps the heels win here, but the faces... No, hang on. I think what we get is we get Bianca and Bayley winning, and then they go to Extreme Rules, and then does Bianca win again? Perhaps we get the reverse? Perhaps what I'm thinking is we get the reverse? Perhaps we actually get the faces win here, and the heels win at Extreme Rules? That's interesting. I didn't really think about that. I didn't think about, would you really have the faces win here, and then you do Bianca Bayley at Extreme Rules, and then Bianca wins again? You see, if Bayley wins at Extreme Rules, that gives Damage Control, if that's their name, Damage Control, all the belts. They will have the Raw Women's and the Women's Tag, which is a nice look. It's a female bloodline. So I'm sticking with my original pick. I'm saying Bianca, Alexa, Asuka win here. Maybe Bianca loses the belt at Extreme Rules to Bayley, and then we've got a female bloodline. Ooh. Literally, as I'm recording live, these thoughts are coming into my head. So, yeah, I'm going to stick with my original pick. I'm sticking with Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa, but Extreme Rules could be very interesting if we get Bayley against Bianca. Bayley against Bianca, would you put the faces over twice in a row? Especially when it's so tempting that Bayley has only just come back. I mean, how long of a reign does Bianca need? Like, how long does she need that belt for? She's already had it since, WrestleMania? So she's had it for a good few months. She's had it about 5 months. Is now the time to take it off of her? I see that one being one that gets debated. So, interesting. I'm still going with the faces. Right, then we've got Drew and Roman, and this is the one, isn't it? This is the one. There is so much to talk about with this. I feel like we could do an hour just on it. We won't, don't worry. But yeah, with this, we've got so much to go through. I think Drew wins. I'm going to put it out there. I think Drew wins. I think Drew wins because there's been promos and vignettes that have been like talking about his past, talking about his journey. It feels very boyhood dream come true. And he has won the WWE Championship, but he won it at WrestleMania 36, and there was no one in the building. WrestleMania 36 was the COVID WrestleMania, the pandemic WrestleMania, the warehouse WrestleMania, where there was no crowd. And, you know, he wins the title and he's looking down the camera and he's like, put your hand out, like, you know, let my hand touch your hand and all this kind of stuff. Because there was no crowds to actually interact with. He was having to interact with the camera. So imagine him winning the belts in Cardiff in front of that massive UK audience, the pop, the reaction. I mean, it would be absolutely huge. I don't want it to go that way. I don't really want Drew to win the belts because he's a bit cold to me. We haven't done much with him this year. It feels like he's been on the back burner. And in the past few weeks, we've started to heat him back up again. But he's nowhere near hot enough for me to be excited about him winning the belts. nowhere near hot enough. He needed to be involved in some absolutely killer feuds this year. He should have been like right up there, involved in some fantastic feuds, really great matches. He should have been the talk of the town. We should have been clamoring for him to be the one. And no one was clamoring for Drew to be the one, because he's been involved in some rubbish feuds, some awful matches, some rubbish moments. Like, he's been feuding with Happy Corbin and Madcap Moss, and it's like, that was the start of his year. And then I think he was involved in like a feud with the Brawling Brutes, and just rubbish. It's rubbish. Away from Roman, the rest of the cards at times, and certainly on SmackDown, can be pretty awful. Corbin and Madcap was not good stuff. The Brawling Brutes, I think the biggest talking point about them is how we wish Butch was changed to Pete Dunne. I don't think anyone's really loving the Brawling Brutes. So it's kind of, you look at it and you're like, Drew's been involved in all of that waffle, and now we're meant to care about him. Now we're meant to get excited for him being the one to beat Roman. I find that difficult to buy, to be honest. So not Triple H's fault. You can't really blame Triple H for what's happened before. It's just, the booking this year for Drew has not been great. Simple as that. Exactly the same as when he won the Rumble. I didn't care for him winning the Rumble when he won it back in 2020. But he went into that very cold. I accepted it. He went on to win the title. I thought his title run was all right. And his title run, if he does win here, could be all right as well. But I do expect him to drop a title soon. I don't know how. That's the big question. How? Are we just going to get one belt onto Raw? How are we going to get one belt onto SmackDown and split these titles apart again? That's a big question. The answer to that is I don't think anyone knows. The latest reports that are doing the rounds is that WWE are still finalising those plans themselves. So it's very hard for us to have an idea if they don't know themselves. There's ways to do it. You can easily do matches where you do two matches. One's for the Universal, one's for the WWE. You win one, you lose one, boom, there you go. Titles are separated. Or Theory cashes in, but he gets told that he's only cashing in for one of the belts, not for both of the belts, because they're, being separated again. So Theory's cash-in becomes for one belt rather than two belts. That's a way of separating them as well. So there's different ways you can do it. I don't think the belts get separated here. I don't think they get separated here, just because all the graphics and everything say that this is for the WWE Universal World Championship. So, yeah, I kind of think that we're going to see Drew pick up both. I think Roman loses both. I think that's the end of his historic title reign. I would imagine the pressure is just too great for them to continue. And, Rock and Roman doesn't need the title next year. So we can still use Roman to build towards that match next year, and the belts don't need to be involved. The other report that I've seen is that Roman will not be at Extreme Rules. So if Roman isn't at Extreme Rules, that means that either he's not got the belts or the belts won't be defended, which, either you could do. It's not an indication really of anything, but I don't know. It just makes me think that the pressure must be on them to get these titles onto Raw and SmackDown, and you've got a pay-per-view coming up where seemingly the current champion's not going to be on it. We know that he's working a reduced schedule now. That means there's going to be plenty of pay-per-views that he won't be on. I don't know. I just wonder if that pressure is building. Is the pressure to get the belts off of him because of his reduced schedule and Raw wanting a world title? Is that pressure greater than the will to see him hit 1,000 days? Because I want him to hit 1,000 days, but just because I want it doesn't mean it's going to happen, and doesn't mean that it's the plan. So I think Drew has got a fantastic chance of winning at Clash. I think he's got a fantastic chance. We've heard no plans about Roman after this show. And the fact that there's been no spoilers as well just kind of really adds to it. if Dave was coming out saying the plan for Roman is to do Roman versus someone at SummerSlam for the belts, like, we haven't even heard that. And we've been hearing that all year. Like, we knew what the WrestleMania plan was last year. Like, we knew that it was going to be Roman and Brock, like, last year, back in 2021. So you could kind of map out, like, what was going to happen. Then we heard it was going to be Riddle, Randy, and Drew. So we knew he was going to face Riddle. He would win that. Then he would face Randy. That turned out to be Brock because Randy got injured. And then we knew it was Drew. But again, nothing after it. Nothing after it. So all of this is making me think, and then the vignettes as well, where we're seeing Drew looking lovingly over the dales and the valleys and everything. It's making me think that Drew is going to get the victory. Now, I think the end of this match is going to be carnage. If you are going to end Roman's title reigns, then you have got to do a lot of moving parts. The Usos are going to be involved. I would think Sammy would be involved, but maybe not. Because if Sammy isn't involved, the question could be, where the hell were you? The tribal chief needed you the most. Where was you? You wasn't there for him when he needed you the most. And so maybe it plays into that. So maybe we don't get Sammy. But I can imagine we get the Usos. I do wonder if we get Solo, but maybe Solo could be Sammy's replacement. So Sammy is booted out and Solo arrives. So maybe Solo Sikoa, who is the Usos' brother down in NXT and is rumored to be coming to the main roster, he could get involved. In fact, we've got an image of him in a bit because I do think that he could be on this show, but he equally might be saved for after it. But yeah, we've got lots of moving parts. One of the other things, of course, is Theory. Theory could cash in as well. I think he will try just like SummerSlam. I think he will fail just like SummerSlam. I said he would fail at SummerSlam, and I think he'll fail again. Reason why I say that is because at the moment they haven't established that if Theory cashes in, it's only for one title. So I think that if he cashes in, he gets both titles. And also, why would you want to end Clash with such a downer? Why would you want Drew to win the belts, end Roman's title reign, and then Theory cash in? I kind of feel like that sends the crowd home, like, disgruntled. That sends the crowd home disappointed and sad that they'd seen this great moment and then it got took away from them. And you could do that on a normal show, but this isn't a normal show. This is the first time in 30 years that the UK has had a big stadium show. Like, they happen all the time in America. Like, I know it's different parts of America, but it's still America. So for us to, like, get one over here, I think you end it on a high. I think you end it on, like, you know, a big moment. And that big moment, I think, is Drew. There is a different way of booking it, which I've said before, which means that Drew doesn't get the belts. And that is that Drew loses. He starts getting beaten up. And to make the save, we get Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury then comes walking down and makes the save. And so, you know, the crowd are cheering. The crowd go home happy. Tyson Fury saved the day. Drew gave it his best. Drew could have been winning. If it wasn't for those darn Usos, then Drew would have won. So Drew doesn't look weak. Tyson Fury saves the day. The crowds go home happy. Roman is still the champion. Everybody's winning. That's how you can book that. But I don't know that it goes that way. And actually, I don't know. I just think that it's more likely Drew wins the belts than it is Roman retains. At least that's my feeling. I did quickly look at the poll in the chat before we started. Seems like you lot had Drew winning as well. So it seems like the consensus that is out there is that Drew is going to win. So, yeah, Tyson, though, he will be on this show. I mean, there's loads of reports that he's signed up and it's good to go. So I totally expect to see him. At SummerSlam 92, Lennox Lewis led out British Bulldog and he was a flag bearer. So Tyson Fury could do that. You know, when Drew is doing his entrance, Tyson Fury could like be the flag bearer, waving the Union Jack down to the ring as Drew follows behind. That's what Lennox Lewis did for the British Bulldog. So, you know, Tyson could be used in that way. I think Tyson wants to get his hands dirty, though. He is not going to want to just wave a flag. He's going to want to pop someone. So I don't know if it'll be Theory. I don't know if it'll be Roman. I don't know if it'll be the Usos. But this ending is going to have a lot of moving parts. A lot of moving parts. And as we said, Solo Sikoa could be one of them. Does he join the bloodline at Clash? Do they save it for after Clash? It feels like he is close to coming up to the main roster. Very close. So hard to know if it's at Clash or after Clash. Hard to know if Sammy is going to be there or he's going to not be there and then that'll be used in storyline. There's so much going. It's hard to know if it's Roman or Drew. When I say I think it's Drew, we're talking 55-45, like 55% Drew, 45% Roman. Like, I am not confident on my Drew pick. I've explained why I've gone for it. So yeah, and I think that Theory keeps that briefcase till next year. I don't think Theory cashes in and is successful. I'd be very surprised if he was. Because I don't think he's ready, and I don't think that they see him as being ready. I don't think they see him as being, it's time to put the belts on him. I think what you've got to do is just continue to build him, continue to have him like trying to cash in and fail. And I could see him being successful at WrestleMania. I've said before, I think he cashes in on Cody Rhodes. I think Cody wins at WrestleMania and Theory cashes in on him. So Theory for me, he'll be involved, but I don't see him getting the belts. Not until WrestleMania. So he's out of the picture. It's just down to Drew and Roman. Karrion's a bit of a curveball. Karrion Kross could get involved. He could distract Drew. It could be that Fury comes down and pops Karrion Kross. I don't know if that's a good visual, though, because Karrion is like this new, dark, moody, like up in the rafters type guy. I don't know if seeing him get smacked in the face by Tyson Fury is the right way forward. So I personally wouldn't book that. I don't think I would put Karrion on this show. If he's not involved in the match, I don't think I'd have him on the show. I think that Karrion is someone that can... He can do some stuff on SmackDown and stories can play out there. I don't think he needs to be at Clash. But that brings us nicely to people that could be at Clash. And obviously we've been talking a lot about Tyson Fury. We've spoken about various different people. One of those people, Tegan Nox. Tegan Nox, this is a name that might resonate with some of you, might not resonate with others. Fantastic indie wrestler, went by the name of Nixon Newell. She was then in NXT. When she was in NXT, she suffered some horrific injuries. She could never really get any momentum going. She finally got called up, but I think there was too much water under the bridge, and she ended up being released. They kept Shotzi. They released Tegan. She is Welsh. She is, as far as I know, fit. She's not under like a contract, but even if this is a one-off, I have to think Triple H. As soon as you think Wales, you think Tegan Nox, because there's not many Welsh wrestlers, right? So you think Tegan Nox. She is someone that I think should make some sort of appearance, even if she's just in the flipping crowd, even if she's in the front row and the camera goes on her and Tegan Nox is shown on screen and it gives the crowd a chance to applaud. Yeah, even if it is only that, she should be on this show. She undoubtedly is going to be there. Undoubtedly. Why would she not go to this show? She's Welsh. She loves wrestling. Like, why would she not go? So even if like she pays and goes herself, I'm sure she'll be there. But I've got to think that Triple H will think of her when he thinks of this. And the crowd would react really well to Tegan Nox. Whether she comes back like full-time, I really don't know. I mean, that's a whole separate conversation. Whether it could just be a one-off thing, you know, I've got a one-off opportunity for you. You can come out, you can make a save, or, we'll have a little moment. We'll do a little moment, like a WrestleMania moment. You remember Rock and Ronda when we did that at WrestleMania 31? It doesn't need to be during a match. There could just be a segment and she comes out and she's a part of it. So, yeah, I kind of think that she's someone that should be on this show. Paige as well, someone else that's not signed. I mean, how do you do a show in the UK without one of the most important UK talents of all time? I mean, Paige, she's someone that really helped kickstart this women's revolution. I mean, it was her match with Emma in NXT that really started things in NXT. As a result of that and there being a women's champion in NXT, which Paige was the first one. She was the first women's champion in NXT. Because of that division in NXT, that's when we started seeing the likes of Bayley, Asuka, Sasha, Charlotte coming through. But they did not come before Paige and Emma. It was Paige and Emma that happened first. They set the table, and then Sasha, Becky, all these people came through, and they went to the main roster and obviously had bigger success. She is someone that's not under contract. I don't know that she's signed anywhere. I don't know if you don't do a little Tegan Nox Paige segment together. Do you know what I mean? What if you've got a couple of bratty heels that are, running? No, I could see Carmella. Or maybe even Nikki and Doudrop, because I do have them down on my list. Nikki and Doudrop need to be on this show. So what if you do a little segment where Nikki, A.S.H, and Doudrop come out? Crowd are obviously going to cheer at first, but then they can tell them to shut up, right? It's a disgrace that we're not on this show. How can we not be on this show? How can WWE leave us off this show? They're coming down, running their mouths off. And so maybe they issue an open challenge. That open challenge is answered by Tegan Nox and Paige. Now, I don't know if Paige can go. I think she said that she could work a match if required. Even if we don't have Paige wrestling, because Paige wrestling is... maybe we put another person with Tegan. I'm trying to think of, maybe someone from NXT UK, maybe someone that just got released. I don't know. Kaylee Ray? How about Kaylee Ray? Or what's her name? Alba Fire. Maybe you do Tegan and Alba Fire with Paige as like a manager. They answer an open challenge from Nikki A.S.H and Doudrop. I feel like Nikki A.S.H and Doudrop, you've got to put them on the show. They're from Scotland, right? Why would you leave them off this show? Even if you put them on the kickoff show where, who cares? Who cares what happens on the kickoff show? Just give them a match. Put them on the show. Stop being mean. So Nikki and Doudrop should be on it. But I do like the idea of them issuing an open challenge and it being answered by Tegan Nox and Paige. And as I said, maybe you chuck in Alba Fire or someone like that. Alba Fire, formerly known as Kaylee Ray, Scottish, down in NXT, quite a big star. She would be all right. You could put her in there. So, yes, definitely looking for those guys to make an appearance, but certainly no guarantees. Another one is Charlotte, the Queen. She's due a return. Got to think that there's a good chance she's returning at Clash. So, Charlotte coming out. Don't know at what point she comes out. Don't know where, because I don't know if she comes out during, maybe Liv beats Shayna. Shayna's upset. Starts trashing the ringside area, getting annoyed, all this kind of stuff. Storms off, Liv's celebrating. Charlotte comes out. Don't know. Bit clunky, isn't it? It's hard. Lots of moving parts, lots of opportunity. And perhaps you don't take all of these opportunities. Perhaps you save Charlotte for the SmackDown after. And maybe you don't put everything into this one pot. But I think there's a good chance. If you want a big return, this is one of the biggest that you could do. Another one is Bray. Now, the Bray one I just don't see. Every day that goes by, I'm getting less and less and less certain or confident that he will be on this show because I just don't see where he fits in. We've spoken at length about what I think could happen with the main event and Drew winning, Tyson Fury being involved, Theory trying to cash in. How do you then drop Bray into that? I just don't know that like Bray fits into that. I do think there's a good chance that he could be on his way back. This is potentially the last stadium show of the year, so there is a chance. I'm at about a 10% chance at the moment, but it is dropping. The closer that we get to next weekend, I think the odds of Bray coming back are falling drastically. There's just no rumours that he's at Clash. There's no reports that he's signed. We got very excited a few weeks ago when there was a report that they'd spoken about him in their creative department, but everything else has been nothing. And, I think that the social media can get riled up by nothingness, the rumour basically. And fan theory can fuel fires that people believe, oh my God, he's definitely coming back because of this or because of that. But they're nothing. They're nothing reasons. There is nothing concrete that says that he will be back at Clash. So I have to think that it is unlikely that he returns at Clash. I mean, look, I would say that he has got as good a chance at returning at the Royal Rumble than he has returning at Clash or Extreme Rules or Survivor Series. I think he is on his way back. I think that WWE are surely going to see the fact that he trends all the time and he's one of the biggest stars, that's out there. I think Triple H, if he's very serious about wanting to please the fans, and I think he is, I think that they're not going to have to ask the question too many times, what would you like to see, before they see like a million responses of we want Bray back. So I think that there's a very good chance of it happening. But it's just, why now? Why would you do it at Clash? Why would you do it at Clash? Because it's a stadium show? I can see that argument gets the biggest reaction. I can see that argument. That's a valid point. Could it be that Roman needs a new challenger after Drew? Well, the reports are that Roman's not at Extreme Rules, so I don't think it's going to be that. Could it be that Drew needs a new challenger? Well, I would argue his next challenger is surely looking like it's going to be Karrion Kross. So if Drew's next challenger is Karrion, then I just don't see where Bray fits in. That's my main point. It's not that I don't think he's ever coming back, but I don't see where he fits in right now. And with how crazy the end of Clash could be with Fury and Theory and new champion and all of that, I don't see it. I just don't see it. So I'm going to go on record as saying I don't believe that Bray will be at Clash. Bret Hart, man, he should be there. He should be there. He was in the main event of SummerSlam 92. So and that was the last big show. Obviously, we can't do the British Bulldog, so Bret should be there. Bret should be on this card, this show. Again, even if it's in the crowd or anything, yeah. I really don't care. Guest timekeeper, whatever, right? Just make sure that Bret is on this show. I mean, how much is it really going to cost you to have him on this show? But I think connecting this show to the one in 92, I think that's really important. Like to show that continuity, to show that connection. This is the same company that gave us SummerSlam 92, that gave us that main event, British Bulldog, Bret the Hitman Hart. And I just think having one of those competitors at this show, because we can't have both, I think that'd be great. I think that'd be brilliant. So I really hope that he does make an appearance. So that's what I've got in regards to people that could be there. There is a couple of names that I forgot to mention, and that was Naomi and Sasha. They stand a very good chance. Naomi and Sasha could be at Clash. They could also be on Raw, because on Raw we've got the women's tag champs being crowned. So with the new women's tag champs get crowned, and then, we could see Naomi Sasha come out. I just think, though, this close to Clash, would you bring them out on Raw? Why would you bring them out on Raw when Clash is literally next weekend? So wouldn't you just wait for the biggest show to get the biggest reaction? Because you're going to get a monster reaction if Sasha and Naomi walk out in a stadium for the first time, rather than, 20,000, if that, 15,000 arena. So I would save them. So I think there's a very good chance Sasha Naomi at Clash. So, yeah, we spoke a lot about people that are coming back. We are getting towards the end of our breakdown, our predictions. We'll jump into the chat in a sec. Just a few other matches that we could get because, as we said, there are 5 matches that have been announced. Looking at SummerSlam, that had 8. So that means we need to add another potentially 3. We don't have to get to 8. We could do 7. But I think almost certainly there's going to be another couple that get added to this show. And so I think one of them undeniably is going to be Beth, Edge, and Ray taking on the Judgment Day. So Beth, Edge, Ray taking on Judgment Day. This is another one that I can see maybe Judgment Day get the victory, but then we do a rematch at Extreme Rules. I mean, if anything deserves Extreme Rules, it is this story. So I'm going to go with Judgment Day winning, but I think this almost certainly gets added. The way that Raw ended last week is Beth making the save, coming to Edge's aid, chasing Judgment Day away. We know that Dominic's been beaten up. Ray is looking for revenge. So, yeah, Edge, Ray, Beth taking on Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley. Should be a really good match. And as I said, I'll go with Judgment Day. Another one that we might get, but I'm really not sure. Theory against Johnny Gargano. I think that Johnny arriving was really cool. Really great reaction. We need him to have a match. It seems like he's going to be in a feud with Theory. Theory is almost certain to be at Clash because surely he's going to tease a cash-in at the end. So if Theory is there, why would you not have a Theory match? That was my logic. Like, if Theory is at Clash and he's not got a match yet, who does he face? And then I remembered this, and I remembered, oh, well, that's a really great way of giving Johnny his first match and giving him time to show what he can do against someone that he knows really well, where they could put on a really great match. So Johnny against Theory at Clash, I could see that. I would go with John. I think Johnny would need the win. So I would go with Johnny picking up the victory. Gets Theory on the cards. I expect him to then try and cash in later. I expect him to fail. And then we've already spoke about it, but I do really like the idea. I think you've got to get Nikki and Doudrop on. And as we said, you could always do them issuing an open challenge, and that open challenge being answered by Tegan, Paige, Alba Fire. I can't think of anyone else, but I'm sure there probably are other women that could come out. I'm sure there's plenty from NXT UK. Maybe even some that got released, like Millie McKenzie, but I don't think she would get much of a reaction because I don't think people quite know who she is yet. But I think people know Alba Fire. But yeah, I mean, like, how do you not put Doudrop and Nikki on? You've got to. You've got to. So hopefully they make it into a match as well. So others could include Uso Street Profits, but we've seen that so many times. I don't know that we get that. But again, I do expect the Usos to be on that card. And also Miz and Ciampa against Lashley and AJ Styles. Again, that feels like a Raw match more than a Clash at the Castle match. But Miz and Ciampa are big stars. And Lashley's the United States champion. And AJ Styles is AJ Styles. So it is kind of crazy that they are not on this card. So that match would easily get like a lot of stars onto the card, even though it might not be a match that people really care about. It does give Dexter Lumis an opportunity to do some stuff as well again, but I don't know. That feels very Raw to me, more so than Clash at the Castle. So that's why I haven't really included it. But I think Edge, Ray, Beth, Judgment Day, yes, definitely. Theory Gargano, I think, stands a really good chance. And then I hope that Nikki and Doudrop get something. And that is it. That is the prediction. So let's jump over to the chat. See what people are saying. It's shooting up into the sky. People sharing their thoughts as to what they've got or what they think for Clash. Let's try and go through some of these. I'm going to try and get to the latest ones. There we go. There weren't any rumours about Gargano coming back, says Alexa Bliss Gamer. No. Are you saying that in regards to Bray? So the Bray stuff, if that's what we're talking about, the Bray stuff is a mixture of things. So no rumors about him coming in is certainly a factor, but also I don't see where he fits in. And, that was a point I was trying to real hammer home, is the fact that if you've got Tyson Fury and you've got Drew and all of this stuff, like Bray Roman can't happen because Roman's not at Extreme Rules. Bray Drew, I can't say can't happen, but I doubt happens because Carrion's around. So where does he fit into that main event scene? Like, now granted, he doesn't have to go and be a part of the main event scene. He could attack Gunther, right? And we might end up getting Gunther against the Fiend, right? You could probably insert him there. But I just don't know if that's what we're doing. I just don't know if that's what we're going to do. I feel like if Bray comes back, he's probably going to come back and go after maybe Randy, but Randy's not around. Or, goes after the titles. I can't see where he fits in. And then add in the fact there's been no rumours. Makes me think, give it about a 10% chance. I think Roman Drew kicks off the show. Roman wins by cheating. Drew cuts a promo and says that it was not fair and he wants a match for one championship at the end, says Keaton. Did you see a picture of a bit of the stage for Clash? I haven't. No, I've not seen that. Is that doing the rounds today, is it? Huff Sports Media says, I think we have Bobby versus Miz versus Ciampa versus AJ for the US title at Clash. Thoughts? You could do that, yeah. I mentioned those in a tag match, but actually doing it as a fatal four-way, you could do that. I don't know quite why, though, because then you've got Ciampa competing against Miz and they're, like, best friends. AJ doesn't really have any beef. I don't know why they would now all of a sudden turn their attention to Bobby's US title, if that makes sense. Like AJ and Bobby were on the same page last week because they were in a match taking on Miz and Ciampa. That's how Dexter Lumis grabs Miz. So I look at that and I think, why would they now turn their attention to the US title? You could do it. I'm sure there's a way you could get there, but I can't say that I'm expecting it. Austin said, if Bray doesn't return at Clash, then he's probably not coming till the Rumble, but who knows for sure. Very true. Very true. And I think that's a really good point. I actually think that him coming back at the Rumble makes a lot of sense. I think what a lot of people tend to forget is how long it takes to actually come up with creative and create characters and all this kind of stuff. Like, I think, when he comes back, there's no certainty how that's going to happen. He doesn't have to attack someone and that be his return. You could see another series of vignettes. You could get a load of Funhouse episodes. It could, it could be that you get a Funhouse episode on Clash, or you get like a tease of something. Do you remember, wasn't it Money in the Bank when we saw that first Edge vignette and everyone got excited that meant it was the return of Bray, or that Bray was connected to it, and off everyone ran. That could be a vehicle for his return, more so than he's actually there and he attacks Roman or he attacks Drew or something along those lines. So, yeah, I think there's lots of different ways that you can bring him back. And I do think that eventually he will come back. But do I think he will physically be at Clash? I don't. I think that I think we've got work to do with him. I think we need to get the right creative. I think we need to film vignettes. We might need to be making masks. There might be new characters that he's going to introduce to us. Who knows? So, yeah, it could be a little while. It's been a while already, but who knows? We might get started soon with, like, vignettes or something. But still, there's no confirmation he's even signed. So, do you know what I mean? It's wishful thinking, isn't it? I think by people hoping that this is going to be the show. But I just don't quite see where he fits in. What if Bray does come back at Clash and Roman wins Carrion is facing off in the ring with Roman. Lights go out. Bray gets in the ring. Bray and Carrion face off. Carrion, Bray, Extreme Rules. I just don't think that's how you're going to end Clash. I just don't think you end this UK pay-per-view with something that's not UK related. If this was a normal show, like, I say a normal show, but like, say, SummerSlam or something along those lines, then in, like, America, then I'd be like, maybe you could do that. But in the UK, I think that the only other time we've had a stadium show was in 92 at SummerSlam, and that's where we did Bulldog winning against Bret Hart, and the show ends with the British Bulldog standing tall with the Intercontinental title. It was the IC belt, but they knew that it was so important that the UK fans went home happy, and, you know, the British Bulldog's done it. It didn't make sense to put the IC title match in the middle of the cards, so they had it as the main event. So I'm thinking that we're building up Drew, and we're building up him winning. I think that for him to not win means that we do need to give the crowd something, and I don't think that something is going to be Bray, because I think they're still going to want it to be like UK related. And if you've got a star the size of Tyson Fury who wants to be a part of this show, I just don't see why you don't pull the trigger on, like, you know, doing something with him. So for me, either Drew wins and that's how it ends, or he loses and I think Tyson is the focus. It doesn't change my opinion of anything. I really don't see where Bray fits into it, because ending the first UK pay-per-view in 30 years with Carrion and Bray just doesn't feel like the right thing to do. It doesn't feel... That's not what I would book. I wouldn't book that. If I was booking Clash, I would not book this thing to end with Carrion and Bray. I think you've got so many different pay-per-views that you can do that at, and so many other opportunities to do it at. To do it at the first UK pay-per-view in 30 years wouldn't feel like the right place. Notorious Media said, Days Drew has been teasing it on Twitter, but could you imagine the pop if Broken Dreams plays at Clash? Honestly, I don't know. We've spoke about it before, because I've never heard anyone telling me about Broken Dreams and how they want it to come back. But all of a sudden now there seems to be this movement, because he teased it. It seems to have got people talking. And now people seem to, the bandwagon is rolling, and people seem to be like jumping onto the idea that this would be an amazing thing. But I don't care. I'm just giving you my honest response. I don't care. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not bothered if he has Broken Dreams or if he has his current theme or whatever. He feels quite cold to me at the moment. I said that during like the predictions. I think that his booking this year has not been that great. And I think if you have Broken Dreams, I don't know, does it get people fired up a little more? I genuinely don't know. I mean, I've done watch-alongs for I don't even know how many years. I have not had anyone saying to me they want Broken Dreams to come back. So the fact that this thing now is starting to like gain traction is really interesting. It's really interesting to see how people are starting to say they want it now. And maybe it will spark like a big reaction. Maybe it will spark like a big kind of excitement in the crowd. But it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't do it for me. And I don't know. I'm going to be completely honest. I think it's fake. I don't think people care about it coming back. I just think that it's a fun bandwagon thing people are jumping on. I think that, honestly, if you ask people to sing the tune, I bet you they couldn't do it. I think people like the idea of an old theme returning and jumping on the bandwagon of that more so than they actually care about it happening. You got to remember, a lot of people were not watching when Drew had that theme the first time. A lot of kids were not watching. There was a lot of people that got into it during, say, the pandemic or the lockdown. I mean, if you're a kid now, if you're like 12 now, go back 6 years. You go back 6 years and it was 2016. I can't even remember if he was with the company in 2016. So, like, even a 12-year-old now, like, was not around watching. Now, sure, they might have gone back and watched some stuff, of course, you know, gone on the network and actually watched some stuff, but I just don't know where this groundswell has come from, where for, like, this support for the return of that theme. It's really interesting, though. You are absolutely right that it's something people are clamoring for on social media, but it's really took me by surprise. Really took me by surprise. The fact there weren't any rumors of Johnny returning, could the same thing happen to Bray? We just spoke about that. I mean, yes. I can't sit here and say no. I can't say that because there was no rumors of Johnny, that means there's definitely no chance of Bray coming back, because of course there's a chance. But I don't know. How many times do we have to go round this thing? Do you know what I mean? It's like every major show that comes up, the talking point is Bray going to be there? Is Bray going to be there? Is Bray going to be there? I mean, Bray left about 12 months ago, and I feel like we've had this is Bray coming back conversation around pretty much every major show. And I think that there's been so much reading into tweets, so much reading into rumors, so much reading into things. The bottom line is this: we're 12 months since he got released, and he hasn't never been back. He's never been back. And a report came out saying that Vince thought he was unprofessional, didn't care for him, was berating him backstage about his weight, even when he was like Funhouse Bray and the Fiend and everything. He was still getting popped at for his weight. So, like, it says to me that there was like little to no chance that Bray was coming back whilst Vince was there. So, I think that, you know, how many times do we go round this circle? I think what we need to do is just see if it happens, it happens, and it's as simple as that. I do think he comes back. I do think he comes back. I think that he is. There's obviously rumors that they've been talking about him in creative, but I'm just repeating myself, but I just don't see where he fits in. I don't see where he fits into this creative at the moment, and I think it would be cleaner to just do vignettes and bring him back that way, or bring him back at a Rumble. I think, you know, if the lights went out in a Rumble number 30 and he returns that way, people would absolutely freak. People will freak however you do it. However you do it is going to work, isn't it? So the Rumble, I don't know if that's our next big stadium show. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's that. And maybe you can tease it leading up to it as well. Maybe you don't just bring him out completely cold, but you could like do vignettes building up to it. This UK show, it's such a special show for the UK. Maybe I get a different perspective because I'm over here, but I just can't see it ending with Bray. If it does, I'll be shocked. I'll be stunned. I genuinely will be shocked. I'm giving it about a 10% chance. I think Bray returns at Clash and costs Roman the title in the middle of the match and attacks Roman because Roman didn't pin Bray at Payback, so it'll be revenge for what Roman did to Bray. Yeah, but that could happen at any time, couldn't it? Like, that doesn't need to happen at Clash. Like, if he's going to attack Roman because he wants revenge on Roman, he can do that anytime. It doesn't need to be at Clash at the Castle. I had a dream that John Cena was at Clash, says Keaton. Liv is my champ. If she vacates the title, she might not get it back, says Nelson. Well, I've had this conversation with people before. I think she should vacate it because I think her first run, this run, is botched. And I think she should get it back. I think she should get it back. I think she is a popular person that sells merch, and I think that hopefully this run has shown WWE that she deserves to get it back. I think the idea of worrying that if she loses the title, she might not get it back. I mean, like, what does that mean? Like, how long is she going to have the belt for them? Do you know what I mean? Like, she's going to have to lose it at some point. So why would we not take it off her now? Because for me, this run is botched. Take it off her. do the work, invest in her, build her up, make her a threat, get her to the same level as a Becky, Bayley. You know, one thing we need to stop is we need to stop this "it's only Liv." I watched a video, I don't know if it was yesterday or Friday, but I watched a video where Ronda and Shayna are training together, working together, and they say it's only Liv. That it's only Liv. That is the perception of her peers. The other wrestlers look at it as it's only Liv. We've got to get her away from that. The reason why people say it's only Liv is because, like, she has not really had a chance to show, like, what she can do in the ring. Like, I don't think that what she has shown has really caused any concern amongst the other wrestlers. We need to get her, like, to the point where she is really showing some skill, getting some submission finishes, really, like, making a name for herself. And, you know, I feel like WWE are going to do that anyway. I think, like, you know, looking at her training jiu-jitsu with Riddle, it makes me think that that's the plan for her. The plan is that we're going to try and get her credible. We're going to try now and make her a credible threat, make her stand on her own 2 feet, try and move away from it's just Liv, which is fine. But I'm just saying I would do that when she doesn't have the belt. Get the belt off her because this run's been botched. Then do that work and then put the belt back onto her. I don't see her going anywhere. She's going to be around, and I would show more confidence in her than worrying that if she loses the belt, she'll never get it back. She managed to get it this first time, you know, and she's still really, really young. That's one thing people forget. She's still really, really young. Charlotte actually was shown a picture of Liv and asked to, like, word association. And the word she came up with was future. So that's the word that Charlotte used for Liv. So she's still young. She's still learning. She's still improving. I would take it off her. I absolutely would. Bray returning is the new CM Punk returning. That's true. That's true. I'm not down on Bray returning. As I said, I think he will. And I mean, look, you can see the hunger for it, the desire for it. I totally understand why people want him to come back, but I just think that this UK show is so special. It's such a different show. Like, it's hard to, like, really explain. I really feel like, in a way, the focus of this one needs to be on, like, the UK wrestlers. Hence why Drew is in the main event. You know, Drew has been saved for this show because he is from the UK. So, like, for me, like, the UK is the focus of this show. And Drew being in the main event symbolizes that. The fact that Tyson Fury is heavily rumored symbolizes that, which is why I just think that's how it ends. It's going to end something UK. Do you know what I mean? Something UK. I don't know. It's hard to say what. I don't know if it's Tyson making a save or Drew winning the belts, but it's go UK at the end. That's my gut feeling. Math said, Days, this is how the women's tag match should play out. Have all 4 women in the ring with Dakota and Raquel face to face. Then they both turn around and attack their partners. Have Dakota and Raquel face to face, and then they turn around and attack their partners. I think it's a bit soon for that. I understand that it plays into what they were doing in NXT, but I mean, she's not even the same name, is it? She was Raquel Gonzalez. She's now Raquel Rodriguez. So I think what happened in NXT happened in NXT. You can kind of reference it, but I don't know that we're going to go that way. Austin said, my prediction is Roman wins. Bloodline start beating down. Tyson Fury makes the save to send the phones happy after seeing Drew lose. I could see that. Yeah. I go USA. USA? UK. But USA as well. Edward said, Roman wins with the help of Solo Sikoa. Then Tyson comes down. Yep, I can see that. You know what would make my night, says Dortnight, if someone somewhere in the community rocked up in ring to fight as a jobber. What if like James Chadwick came down, like swearing his head off and jobbed out for someone? That would be fun. WWE always had plans for Drew to be at Clash. Juice Tin said, I don't think Bray will return because there's been so many times where they could have brought him back and bringing him back would be a bit random. Main Man Raj said, Roman should beat Drew as it will pee off the fans that he doesn't get the moment. Roman cuts a promo and the Fiend returns as the next one for Roman, maybe at Rumble. It's a long way though, isn't it? I mean, first of all, you're not ending the show with Go UK, right? You're ending it with, Drew's lost and, you're doing like a Fiend thing instead. We know that Roman is not fighting at Extreme Rules. So you can't do Roman Bray at Extreme Rules. So that means Bray's going to have to, focus on someone different. And for me, it's just messy. And are we really using Clash to set up a feud for Royal Rumble? I wouldn't do that. I mean, you've got Survivor Series first, but I wouldn't use Clash to set up something for Survivor Series. What are they going to do with Roman if he loses the titles? Well, he's not around at the next pay-per-view, apparently. So that makes me think that he could step away. And then obviously when he comes back, I think the next pay-per-view is Survivor Series. I think I'm right in saying that. We might even have, I don't know, I haven't heard about another Saudi show. There's been no word of a Saudi show. So I don't know what's happening in regards to that. But Survivor Series, I mean, you can easily do, get Roman on there. He can, I don't know if he would, you could do a Bloodline match, which would be awesome. But the new Survivor Series graphic definitely makes it look like we're still doing Raw versus SmackDown. So I think, I don't know. I don't think anything's changing on that front. I want to try and get through these comments quicker. I just want to bang, blast through them. Respectfully, all babble. UK card implies UK scripted ending. There is no Bray at this pay-per-view. When does the show begin? Clash begins next week. Just have Bray come out after Clash, says Jaden. I know everyone's talking at the same. Who's talking about Randy? Well, there's no talk or word about when Randy could come back. And that's another interesting factor because, Randy could be a victim or a target for Bray. So, maybe when Randy's back, we might see the return of Bray and he could go after Randy because he might not, in all fairness, because he might have some other targets he wants to deal with first. Because when the Fiend came arrived for the first time, he went after Finn Balor. He didn't go after Randy straight away. So he could go after other targets first and then move on to Randy. But I've got to think that if Bray's coming back, there's unfinished business with Randy Orton. And I've got to think that will be a future opponent. But no word yet as to when he's back. I know they used SummerSlam for Roman and Brock feud for a full year. I mean, that feud has been ever going. I think it would be wrong to say that Brock came back at SummerSlam and that started that feud. Certainly, if you look back at the fact they've main evented, WrestleMania 31, main evented WrestleMania 34. I would say that Roman's biggest foe is Brock Lesnar. So I don't think that you can say that Brock came back and that kick-started this feud. I mean, this has just been an ongoing feud. I feel like, we still might not have seen the final match between Roman and Brock. They say that we have, but then they said we did at WrestleMania, and that was broken by the time we got to SummerSlam. So, they could face again in the future, and I reckon that they are probably, I don't know if they're each other's biggest opponents. I would say that Brock is Roman's. I don't know if Roman is Brock's. What if Randy comes out and says he's back from injury and before he's done and Bray confronts? That won't happen at Clash. This is hard, says Mercedes Spiteful. Should make another UK superstar interfere during the match. They should end his reign at Money in the Bank so that it can hit 1,000 days. Alex Bliss Gamer said, when Bray returns to WWE, will you be excited? I honestly don't know. Seriously don't know. I mean, my relationship with Bray is quite complex. It's not a straightforward relationship at all. He is someone that has given some fantastic moments, but he's someone that's given some awful moments, in my opinion. He's given me some of my favourite moments and some of my least favourite moments. So I really don't know. I don't know how I'd react. I think I would be pleased to see him because I know it means a lot to people out there. And I would be hopeful of some really great moments again, but fearful that I'm going to get more rubbish moments. Because, look, I think it's well documented by now as to, what I like, what I don't like, what I look for, what I don't look for in wrestling. And, he's given me some fantastic psychological Firefly Funhouse, what's going on, fan theories, tearing it apart. Is this guy mentally unhinged? Are they in an insane asylum? The split personality, isn't it brilliant how Funhouse Bray is so happy and the Fiend is so dark, and then like all of that was just incredible. But the longer it went on, the more it went into the supernatural, the more it just absolutely left me. So I genuinely don't know how I would react. I do think he's coming back. And I know it's what people want, but I can't answer. I don't know how I'd react. Huff Sports Media said, what if Riddle has lost to Seth and is down? Riddle has lost to Seth and is down. Randy comes out, but the Fiend interrupts. Randy tells Riddle, stay away, but Riddle refuses. So Randy does. Riddle... you've lost me. You've lost me. On Raw, Randy comes out and says he's back from injury and a mysterious video plays, says Kane. Survivor Series this year is the 10-year anniversary of The Shield. Seth keeps talking about Roman. I think we could get Seth Roman at that pay-per-view for the WWE title, and Seth takes it. Thoughts? Interesting. Not down on that match. You saw it at the Royal Rumble. It's pretty fun. I think once... You see, it's so hard to, book... I mean, I ain't got a problem with them doing that. I haven't got a problem with Seth against Roman and Seth winning the title. I think once we're done with this Roman kind of title reign, I would imagine that he'll probably pick up a few losses because he hasn't lost for so long. That I would imagine, once he does lose the belts, he's probably going to put a few people over. Not many, but I could see him putting Seth over. But it's just hard to know if he's going to still have a one belt, two belts, no belts. I think it's very difficult to know what situation he's going to be in by the time we get to Survivor Series. But I do expect him to be at Survivor Series. Nav said, if Bray was returning, he would attack Roman at SummerSlam and say to Roman what Roman said to him, you can't handle the responsibility, holds the championship over Roman, and that would bring it full circle. Colt Bayley said, is Randy return is going to have to be at Clash because what's going to happen is Riddle lift up Rollins and then there's an RKO out of nowhere. Cooge says, congratulations to Le Rebellion for winning the NWA tag titles. Dylan said, don't forget to mention Emma for a return. She should come back and answer Nikki's challenge. Well, she's Australian, so I don't know that bringing her back at Clash makes a great deal of sense. And I don't even know if she's coming back to WWE. I know that she's a free agent, and I know she's been vocal about that on social media. Doesn't mean that WWE are signing her. She could end up going to MLW, NWA. I was going to say AEW or maybe Ring of Honor. I don't know. But yeah, no guarantees that she's going to WWE. Wrestler Andy, hello, said, do you think Cody will be booked as strong? I do, yes, I do. I see him winning at WrestleMania, the title. I think he could even win the Rumble. You can't bring Bray back in a Rumble and Cody as well because both would need to win. Not if Bray isn't bothered about winning. If the Fiend comes back in the Rumble and his focus is someone and he goes after them and they both get eliminated and he doesn't care about winning. You see, I think part of the problem was when he went after the titles. I've heard a few people saying that when he became champion, that's when things started to go wrong. Because really, the Fiend is like darkness. The Fiend was about revenge. The Fiend was about going after people that had wronged Bray. When the Fiend started going after titles, it was, a weird story to tell, a different story to tell. So why does the Fiend need to come back at the Rumble and win it? Like, he can come back and go after his WrestleMania target and not care about going over the top rope. Just come back to eliminate them. Just come back to stop them from winning. What if that target is Randy Orton? What if Randy is in the Rumble? Bray comes out at number 30. Massive moment. Place goes banana. And he goes straight for Randy. Eliminates Randy. He eliminates himself in the progress. Both of them are brawling. Boom, done. WrestleMania. Thank you very much. Bray versus Randy. Cody goes on to win the Rumble. Pepper Awesome said, I've seen the photos of the Clash set. It looks sick. Looks like they're going all out. There's even a castle stage being built inside the stadium. It looks good. I don't think Bray needs to win the Rumble. I would wait till Rumble 2024 to have him there. Cody needs it more, says Austin. James said, I would have Bray return out of nowhere on a random Raw without warning. Matt said, in your experience, do UK live crowds bring a different sort of energy to those that are stateside? Are they more raucous? Yes and no. I think that actually American crowds can vary. I think that Chicago, Philadelphia are good crowds I I've seen us go there, like with AEW or WWE in recent years. Chicago's just always been a good crowd. I don't know about Philadelphia, but we've been to Philadelphia and there's been some really good crowds there. I also think that sometimes Texas can turn up. AEW went to Miami and they were brilliant. So it's a bit hit and miss, to be honest. You go to a lot of places and they're very quiet. But there are certain places in America that are loud and, impressive. I think with the UK, we have got a very big football, Premier League kind of culture. And even if you don't go to that, like cricket, I know a lot of you won't watch cricket, but if you actually do watch cricket, the people that tend to go to watch England play, they're wearing fancy dress, they're drinking all day. Like cricket will start, if you watch a test match of cricket, it will start at 11 o'clock in the morning. It will end at 6 o'clock at night. And that'll just be like day one. It'll go on for about five days, potentially. It depends how the game's going, of course. But it's a very long game, but it's brilliant. I do love cricket, and I've been to see it many times. But when you actually go, if you go and watch England, there's people in the crowd dressing up, they're drinking all day, they're chanting at the end, dancing away. There's a real party atmosphere. And I don't know why, but I feel like that is in UK crowds. That seems to translate over. That kind of party atmosphere. When you go to the football, for example, when you watch Premier League on TV, the crowds aren't sat there. Just, do you know what I mean? With their arms folded, just watching the game silently. It's all chanting and, shouting and getting involved. And it's just been part of our culture in a way. It's just something that we're not bothered about doing. It's about making noise and being part of the show and, pantomimes as well. I don't think you have them. But I don't know actually, but when you grow up in the UK, a lot of the theatres around Christmas time will have pantomimes, and they are basically fairy tales for kids. And they'll get a couple of celebrities to play the major characters, And, like, you know, it's family friendly, family fun. It's the kind of thing you go along to. You watch, I don't know, Jack and the Beanstalk, something like that. And, like, you know, the crowd are getting involved. Like, oh, he's behind you. He's behind you. Watch out. Like, you know, the kids are all shouting and everything. So even from a very early age, like, I feel like our entertainment is very interactive. I think the same was said with, like, some Shakespeare stuff as well. I've seen not actual footage, of course, but recreations of what Shakespeare's plays were like when he was doing them, and, like, the crowd's proper shouting, like, you know, they weren't just, like, you know, Shakespeare was play for the masses. So Shakespeare was all about, like, you know, entertaining people, but not just, like, in a theatre, like, you know, oh, what. It wasn't that. It was, like, for your regular people to go and enjoy as well. So, you know, of course they wouldn't be observing rules or staying silent. Stuff was getting chucked on stage. People were shouting stuff. I don't know, it's just always been part of our history. So, like, in just lots of different forms of entertainment. So I think that as a result, you can almost always guarantee that a UK crowd is not going to be silent, not going to be quiet, going to get involved, going to make noise, going to have chants, going to, you know, bring a bit of energy. It varies. I mean, like, sometimes they might, you know, be a bit more subdued than normal, or, you know, really, there's nothing really happening on the show that's going to get them going. But if you can get them going and give them something, then a UK crowd will repay you. So, yeah, I think that there's plenty of opportunity on this show, and the crowd, I think, will be a talking point after. I've got to think that the crowd, if it's going to be a lot of kids, you know, and the other problem is with this day and age, in the past where people were shouting, applauding, everyone's got their phones now. Do you know what I mean? That's a bit of a problem. So in this day and age, everyone's got their phones recording stuff. So, you know, they don't have their hands free anymore. So maybe they're not as interactive because of filming stuff, but I don't know. We'll see. I still think the crowd will be a talking point. I still think it'll be seen as a positive. I'll be stunned if the crowd is just sat on their hands quiet and people are complaining about how quiet they are. I really am not expecting that. Tyson Kennedy said John Cena is in Wales for Clash, says Tyson. I'm not expecting John Cena, to be honest. I'm not expecting John Cena. I can't say I've seen any rumours that he's on the show or going to be involved in the show. I don't know. He might be. It's a UK show, so, you know, you could have Undertaker. We know Undertaker's around, so Undertaker could be on the show. You could do anything like that, because, like, Undertaker didn't really get a chance to say goodbye to his UK fans. So, you know, you could always do a little Undertaker moment. I doubt you do, because he retired and we haven't seen him since. So I doubt that you do. I think if he does come out, there's probably a better chance it'll be Mark Calloway, and he'll be introduced as Mark Calloway and, you know, waving in the crowd. Or perhaps they put him in the crowd. Perhaps you get Cena and you get Undertaker, Mark Calloway, and you do a little crowd moment or something. So it could be something along those lines. But I'm certainly not expecting Cena to be involved in a match. I don't even know if he could do anything physical, because he's, I think, filming at the moment. So, I don't know. We'll have to see. It's not one that I'm expecting, but he could be in the crowd. Or he could do a little promo segment if they've got a spot. Riddle versus Seth for a third time could happen in Saudi, which is before Survivor Series, says Jonah. Yeah, I don't know about the Saudi show. I actually looked at forthcoming pay-per-views and it's not listed. So I don't know if that's just because they haven't announced it yet. Because they do normally do one, but no mention of one on forthcoming pay-per-views. Sasha and Naomi could make an appearance during the Control match if they win the tag match at titles tomorrow. Yes. I agree, Jonah. I agree. SDP said, Fiend character makes WWE look too fake for casual fans. Having him kick out of 15 stomps makes Seth and the WWE look stupid. Robin says, acknowledge me. I'm looking forward to Drew versus Roman, said Legend Killer. Nino said, we want Tegan Nox back. David said Triple H will likely have some kind of surprise for Clash. He did at SummerSlam. Alex said Drew will beat Roman to become the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion. Could you see Cross interfering and costing Drew the title? I think either he or Cody should be the ones to beat Roman. What's your thoughts? And Theory is now back. Is now back as Austin Theory. Is that true? Obviously, I've not seen that any reports that he's back as Austin Theory. But I think Karrion could cost Drew. He could. And then Tyson comes out. I really feel, I don't expect this show to end with Roman standing tall, waving his hand in the air, celebrating. So, yeah, he could. Because he could cost Drew, then the Bloodline can attack, and then out comes Tyson Fury. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of moving parts and a lot of different ways that it could go. I think trying to cut through it all, I'm still 55% Drew's going to win. 55% that Drew will be taking the belts. I hate that about crowds. Literally at every event, other than college sports, all the fans are never involved. They're always on their phones, more focused on documenting than just enjoying. That's true. According to BT Sport, Clash will be 4 hours. It will be 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Okay. Thank you. We are doing it. We will be doing the watch along. I'll get it all set up later on. Dawn Knight said, how would you feel about Bret opening Clash, walk into the ring with a British Bulldog? I wouldn't do that. British Bulldog's not Bret's symbol. And I understand that it would be connection to Davey Boy, but we don't need that. I would just have Bret there. I think Bret coming out, Bret being Bret, we know the Bulldog's not around anymore. I think him just coming down and just saying a few words, if he was to come out and say about the magic of that main event and working with Davey and everything, I think it would be such a great moment. And Bret was always loved by the UK crowds as well. He would get such a great reaction, and that connection to, what happened before, I think would be great. So, yeah, but we don't need a dog involved. Do you think Bray will be there? I'm saying unlikely. I'm going 10% chance. Steve said, what if Jon Moxley shows up and attacks Roman? I think that Tony Khan would have some questions. Kane said, if anything, Drew wins and Karrion attacks, and then Randy RKOs them both, and then Bray comes back, says Kane. How many days is Roman at now? Surely they won't spoil 1,000. We're at 700 and something, so we are still quite a way off. We've still got another 200 something to go, so, we would have to get past WrestleMania in order for him to get to 1,000. So I would love for him to do it. But it's not as if we're only a few days away or 50 days away. We're still a good chunk of time away, unfortunately. Do you think they will introduce new rumoured belts? Yeah, I don't think it'll be at Clash. But, yeah, I think that we could get some new belts soon. Do you think Seth versus Roman happens at Survivor Series because of it being the Shield 10-year anniversary? I think there is a chance of that match. I can't say yes 100% because, I don't know, Shield 10-year anniversary, that's nice, but, do we do something for the Shield 20 anniversary as well? Do we do something I don't know, where do you draw the line? I kind of think Shield 10-year anniversary it's nice, but you could have done a nice moment or something if Moxley was still with WWE, but he's obviously not, and not expected to be, so, and under contract with AEW, so you could do Seth Roman. It was something Austin mentioned earlier, and I certainly don't mind it. I can't see any reason why it would be a problem, but equally I can't say that it's a guarantee. I can't say that it's locked, that it's, dead cert. Yeah, we're definitely doing that because it's 10 years. It's a nice connection, but I don't know. That anniversary doesn't feel like the strongest anniversary in the world. It's not something that I think we desperately need to acknowledge. But you could. I'm not against it. James said, have Davey Boy Smith Jr. come out with Drew wearing a British Bulldog robe. Jeremy said, could you see Theory cash in his Money in the Bank and win the title? Yes. Not yet. I think it needs a bit more time. It's funny that people talk as like Clash is WrestleMania or SummerSlam, but it's a normal pay-per-view. I think it is SummerSlam, to be honest. I think it is as big as that. It's not often that you get a stadium show of 60, 70,000 just because it's a one-off and it's not something that we've had before. Doesn't mean that it's not on that scale. I think that they are booking it, treating it like a SummerSlam. I think it is. It feels to me like it's that scale. It feels to me, because of it being a stadium and, you know, I'm hearing now about this stage and all this kind of stuff. It feels like, yeah, we're getting something that's equivalent to a SummerSlam, even if it's not SummerSlam in name. Are you doing a live stream, even though there's spoilers for SmackDown? Yes, of course. What could you see Tyson Fury doing at Clash? I think he could either walk out and be a flag bearer for Drew, which is what Lennox Lewis did at SummerSlam 92, or he could be at ringside and jump the barricade, get involved, or he could come down and make a save. I don't expect him to have a match. I do expect him to be involved in the main event. Roman is advertised for SmackDown on 23rd of September. So what would he do without the belts? Probably talk about what's next for him. So if he doesn't have the belts, he's not expected to be at Extreme Rules. So you're going to see Roman again. So I would imagine that he would come out and like talk about what's next. And maybe start a little feud with someone, or it could just be a one-off match with someone that night. But that doesn't change any kind of thinking that I have. Hazza said, do you think we see Edge on the card? Yes. I think it should be Edge, Ray, and Beth against Judgment Day. Thoughts? Yes. I said it earlier. Zero said, what are the chances of Tyler Bate debuting at Clash and going after Gunther? Pretty low, I would think. You could put Tyler Bate onto the cards. Don't think he goes after Gunther because Tyler Bate's down in NXT. Gunther's on the main roster. I don't see Tyler Bate going to the main roster. I think that he could be sticking around in NXT for a while, but I don't expect to see him on the main roster. So I'm not going to say impossible, but I'm going to say low. Do you think Drew Tyson Fury could be next for Drew? Maybe. Tyson Fury has called out Drew and said that he wants to take him on. They are both faces. It doesn't make the greatest sense in the world. I think we could find something else for Tyson Fury to do. But if Tyson wanted a shot at the titles and Drew has them, then you could book that maybe for the Saudi show. Liverpool-Everton is on the same day as Clash. He's doing Worlds Collide, so I doubt it, says Jake. Do you think Brock might show up on this card? No, I don't think. Kane said, Drew wins, he's celebrating. Bray's Live in Fear plays as a sign, but he doesn't come out, says Kane. Do you think after Clash will be powerful as WrestleMania after Raw? Do you think the Raw after Clash will be as powerful? No. Just because the Raw after SummerSlam isn't really seen as a thing. I think they would like it to be a thing, but it's not really a thing. It's really just the Raw after WrestleMania. So I don't think the Raw after Clash will be... You'll have all the fallout, and it's going to be a Triple H book Raw. And who knows? I mean, he could even save a Charlotte. You know, if Charlotte doesn't come back at Clash... She comes, you could bring her back somewhere else, like Raw or SmackDown following. So, there's definitely options that he's got, but no, I'm not expecting like loads of call-ups and things like that. Although there's plenty of rumors that people are ready. You know, we know that Legado del Fantasma are on the verge of coming up. We know that they're on the verge. We know that Solo Sikoa is on the verge of coming up. There's rumors that Indy Hartwell is on the verge of coming up. So there's people that are ready to come up. If he wanted to make it a Raw after WrestleMania, he could do it. We are in the unknown because, like, it's just not what Vince does. Vince had Raw after WrestleMania, and that was it. That was it. There was no other Raws that were on that scale. Triple H could be thinking different, couldn't he? He could be thinking different. So I'm going to say no, just because we haven't been having that. But under Triple H, anything is possible. I've got a weird feeling this wasn't the last of Trent Seven. I could genuinely see Drew winning the belts and Trent could attack Drew, which could make Theory cash in. Thoughts? I don't see it. I don't see it because Trent is quite low down the pecking order. I don't think people would know who it really was. He's not even been like really NXT. He's been NXT UK. And it is a UK show. And, you know, you could just have him as a bit of a mystery person. Like, who's this? That looks like Trent Seven from NXT UK kind of a situation, but I don't see it. I can't say it's not going to happen, but I would file it as very unlikely. Drew will stand tall next week, and normally the loser stands tall. I did think that before, but I remember Liv standing tall on a couple of occasions going into Money in the Bank, and then she won it. So I don't even know how much of an indicator that is these days. Right, we're gonna... I'm thinking of wrapping this up. We've done 1 hour 40 odds, and I was not going to go that long for these predictions. But, I mean, there's so many people that want to share their thoughts. We'll stick around for a little bit longer and just get a few of these final ones in. Michael said, 60 million watched WrestleMania in India. If that's the case, it's bad because India's population is 1.2 billion and WWE wanted Drew versus Tyson at Clash. Well, it's not bad, is it? Because 60 million is still 60 million. Just because you only got 60 million out of 1.2 billion, you still got 60 million. So I would imagine that the ad revenue that generated is still a 60 million ad revenue. Just because you had potential to get more than that, it doesn't mean that the 60 million you got is bad. So I think that's the wrong way to look at it. And Drew against Tyson at Clash is not happening, is it? So, I mean, Tyson is going to be on that show. I think Tyson was calling out Drew and making noises that he wanted to do that match, but it's just not come through, has it? Instead, Drew against Roman. I do expect Tyson to be involved, and we've been debating now for how that'll play out. David said, let's hit the 2 hour mark. That's about 15 minutes. We can do that. Austin said, how would you feel if WWE does Index right away on Indy's main roster debut? Do you think it's too soon to do that for Loomis? Would you be all right with it? Index straight away. To be honest, my first feeling was that we don't do it straight away. What we do is we establish Dexter as, you know, unhinged, someone that's just in the background, bit of a psychopath. I think personally he went too far with kidnapping The Miz. I think having him actually kidnap someone is like a step too far. I think that he should be unhinged and always teasing that he could potentially do that, but never does it. And so I think we actually went a bit too far with it. I think that I think we continue doing what we're doing with him, and we bring Indy up, and then we just tease something between them. I think we tease something between them because I think what the fans would want is they would want there to be a reunion of Index. So I think the fans would want to see them together. because it was great seeing them together on NXT this past week. So what I would do is I would have it so that Dexter is doing his thing, Indy is doing hers. I would probably have them on separate brands. And then I would just have moments maybe at pay-per-views where they just cross paths. So I actually wouldn't do Index straight away. I would build it and tease it and work towards them getting back together. And I would get them back together, but it would be a pretty long road. Let's put it that way. It'd be a long road. Do you remember how great it was when Mandy and Otis finally got together? Or when Macho Man was with Sensational Sherry and he got back with Miss Elizabeth? I would be looking at something like that. So, you know, they've both got feelings for each other. You can tell their own stories. And then maybe at just some pay-per-views, there's just these little moments. Maybe at Royal Rumbles, there's just these little moments. WrestleManias, there's something that happens. And it's only fleeting. It's only once in a while. And you just know that they can't quite be together at the moment. But ultimately, they get together. Do you think Drew will go over at Clash? Do I think Drew will go over at Clash? I'm 55% yes. 55, 45, 55% Drew does go over, yes. Do you think Roman would be willing to drop the titles? I don't think it's Roman's choice, to be honest. I think that Roman probably does have a degree of creative control. But at the end of the day, if Triple H wants to put the belts on Drew, that's Triple H's call. If Triple H wants to put them on Theory, that's Triple H's call. Like, Triple H is the one with the final say. I don't know that Roman has even got the ability to point-blank refuse. And to be honest, nor should he, because he's working a reduced schedule. If WWE feel like the better way forward is to put the belt on someone else so that those belts are more active, I think Roman would understand that. I think he would absolutely understand that. So I'm sure Roman would like to keep this reign going for as long as possible. But I think equally, if Triple H is saying, look, I've got USA Network breathing down my neck. They desperately want a champion back on Raw. As well as that, you know, we've got Extreme Rules coming up. You're not going to be on that show. Like, I need to get these belts off you. Like, then I'd have to think that Roman would understand. You can't have your cake and eat it, can you? You can't work a reduced schedule and like be upset if you're not going to be the champion. So, when Big E comes back, which feud would you like to see him in? Listen, we've got to wait because Big E is making noises like a return is not even a guarantee. So, I really don't know. He's saying that his the neck, it's not fused quite right, so he's got to have more scans in the future. So it doesn't look like Big E is coming back anytime soon. So it's really difficult because I don't even know what the roster will look like. I think when he comes back, you probably put him in a tag team. I don't think he has a solo run because I don't think he's going to be able to do solo work. So I think he'd probably go back in with the New Day if they're still together and still around, because we could be looking easily next year. And I don't even know if it would be like before WrestleMania. I really don't. I mean, I think a lot of people are looking at the Royal Rumble, but there's no guarantees. There's really no guarantees. There's no guarantee he comes back at all. He's even said, like, if this is the end of my career, I'm happy with what I've achieved. So, yeah, it's impossible to sit here and go, oh, I'd do this match or I'd do that match because... Paige is working with her family's company in Norwich. She's going to be a special guest referee in her Two Brothers match, which is cool. Says, me name's Breen Weevil. Shout out to you. My favourite thing about the bloodline is the cool Jordan trainers, says Tort Knights. Michael said, Days Cena celebrated Vince's birthday with in New York with his wife. That's true, he did, yeah. He went in, met with Vince. Which is interesting that they've still got that relationship, even though he's sort of been out of WWE now for a while. I know he went back and did, like, you know, SummerSlam last year and the odd appearance, but he's kind of largely left. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they've got that close of a relationship where they can hit each other up and like go to dinner. So yeah, I thought it was interesting. Richard said, I think Drew loses, Roman wins and holds the belts till the Rumble, then loses to Karrion, or Cody comes back at the Rumble, wins the Rumble, takes the belts from Roman at WrestleMania. There's definitely stuff in there that I agree. I agree Cody coming back and winning Rumble. I agree with that. I don't know that he wins it from Roman, though, because this big rumor and report is that USA Network want to have a championship back, so on their show on Raw. So it means really we're desperately trying to get these belts back, one on Raw, one on SmackDown. So I just can't see Roman working both. In fact, he's not going to. He's not working both shows. So he's working a reduced schedule now. So it doesn't fix that problem. So it feels like we need to get a title back onto Raw, and we need a title on SmackDown. And Roman could absolutely still be one of those champions. But I don't know that he's going to be holding both belts all the way up until Royal Rumble. I would have to think that's unlikely. But I do agree with like your Cody stuff, and maybe Karrion comes back, and we do see him involved in some way. I would love for the Fiend to come back, says Charlie. How long we got? We got 8 minutes. 8 minutes. I want to try and get through as many of these comments as possible. Did you see the Drew talking about a triple threat between Rock and Roman? I didn't, Michael. No, I didn't. To be honest, that's not a match that I'm crazy to see, because I think for me, Rock and Roman is all about family. And I feel like Drew just getting involved is just him inserting himself because he wants to. So that's not one that I would be clamoring for. CJ said, a bit far-fetched, but Theory cashes in. They announce it's only for the WWE Championship. So it's a triple threat and Drew wins it that way. What Roman will take out his tribal teeth, says Dave. Right. Karrion Kross is next. Kross versus Drew is the rumoured main event of Extreme Rules. Do you think Drew Tyson is next for Drew? No. Extreme Rules would be next. I don't think Tyson would be on that show. Do you think would be most likely to jump from AEW to WWE, says Jake? Most likely to jump... I'm trying to think who's unhappy. There's a few rumours of people being unhappy. Most likely to jump. I'm trying to think who's unhappy, who wants out. Someone asked for their release and couldn't get it. Is it Jay Lethal? Jay Lethal? Or Grisham? Grisham wanted out, didn't he? But WWE would want to have him. If WWE wanted Grisham, Grisham could go. But I don't know that they do want him. I think they want maybe Jericho. He said that he wanted him. Maybe Wardlow. Maybe MJF. These are the people that WWE seem to be looking at. But they would want to have to go. And at the moment, they are all under contracts as well. So I don't know that they will be the next ones to go, to be honest. It's hard. It's really difficult because anyone of interest to WWE is locked down. Like, they can't get them. They've apparently sent the feelers out trying to figure out, like, when's your contract up? When's your contract up? And that resulted in AEW sending WWE an email. So, yeah, I hard one to answer, because not only does the talent want to leave AEW, but WWE equally needs to want them. And I don't know that there's anyone in that position right now. I don't think there's anyone in that position right now. So, could Dragunov or Cena confront Gunther next? Well, Dragunov's out injured, so no. Cena, Gunther would be amazing, and I would totally be down for that match. But when do you do it? I don't think you do it at Extreme Rules. You could do it at Saudi. John Cena being at the Saudi show makes sense if we can get him. So, maybe, you know, there's people saying that Cena's expected to be at Clash. What if Cena's in the front row, Gunther gets in his face, just pushes him or something, walks away, plants the seed, and you end up getting the match in Saudi Arabia? I could see that. Charlie said, I've always wondered if the Usos lose the belts earlier in a pay-per-view, does that or would that mean that Roman loses them as well? I don't think there's a connection. I don't think just because like the Usos lose them, that's an indicator that Roman will. Because Roman's story is separate to the Usos story. They are connected as the bloodline, but I don't see them as being connected that way. Dave said AEW is a mess backstage, so anything can happen. Let's go down. Do you think they put the IC title on Solo Sikoa? They have traded it recently. I don't think they put it on him anytime soon, but he could get it. I can't say that he'll never get it, but I don't think that he comes up and gets it off Gunther anytime soon. I think I expect Gunther to have a long reign. Edward said, I know it doesn't cater to everyone, but what if KSI and Logan had a run as a tag team in WWE? What would your thoughts be on that? Well, my thoughts would be that I would hate it because they're not wrestlers. They aren't trained in wrestling. The only thing I would say is I personally find it easier to accept Logan and accept KSI than I do a basketball player, a singer, something like that, because they have had boxing fights. Like, they are trained in boxing. They've got good physiques. They look good. They work out. They've got good size to them, a decent size. And they are trained in some form of combat. I mean, you've got to remember that wrestling is two people battling to see who the better person is. So where you've got a singer coming in, beating a trained wrestler, like, that to me is a problem. That's a problem. I don't like that. It sucks. It's rubbish, right? I've been vocal on it. I'll always be vocal on it. It's rubbish. Like, why we have celebrities that feel that they even should be allowed to get in the ring. Like, I'm so tired of people telling me, like, say, just as an example, Bad Bunny. Like, Bad Bunny, he loves WWE. He gets WWE. He understands WWE. Well, if he understood WWE, then wouldn't he understand that it's a pretty rubbish look for a singer that's got no training in combat to come in and start beating the wrestlers? Wouldn't he understand that? Wouldn't that form part of his amazing understanding of wrestling? Because to me, it makes the wrestlers look rubbish. And I hate it. And I don't know why we keep doing this and bringing these celebrities in. So, I do, so that we can get their fans. That's it. It's not done for the good of the actual in-ring product. It's done so that we can just get their fans. Look, come and join. Watch us now. Oh, you like this person? Well, we've got this person. Come and watch them. And then stay and watch all our other stars as well. So that's why you do it. It's got nothing to do with putting on the best in-ring product possible. It's literally just to try and grab their fans. That is it. I hate it. I really hate it. It's one of my pet peeves, as many people know. So seeing KSI and Logan come in definitely does play into a degree of that. But I find it easier to accept them because they have boxed. They've boxed and they've trained, and I feel like they could go in there and at least give a good account of themselves. But for them to actually win the tag titles, for us to say that Logan and KSI are, as a tag team, the best tag team WWE have, they're better than the Usos. They're better than the Usos. They're better than the New Day. They're better than the Viking Raiders. Like, no. I don't mind them tagging, but listen, if I'm booking, I'm jobbing them out. I'm jobbing them out, yeah? I don't mind them tagging together and doing something. I'm sure they've got, like, striking ability. They can do a little something in there. But I'm having them put on a good show. A good showing. They gave a good account of themselves. But, they fell short. Thanks for coming, lads. Good try. Good try. That's how I would book it. Next guys for Gunther at Saudi: Cena, Kevin Owens, Pete Dunne, or unlikely Samoa Joe. Celebrities should never hold any gold from any wrestlers, says Austin. Michael said it's a business. If they don't do it, then they won't get many fans from other stars. It wasn't Bad Bunny's choice. It was your boy Vince. Yeah, and he was wrong. Listen, I am not going to go to bat and say that Vince McMahon has not made mistakes. Vince McMahon has made flipping probably more mistakes than anyone else on this planet, and all of that is coming screeching into the realism right now, isn't it? I mean, taking money out of the company. I think, if anything, my boy Vince, as you put it, has got some of the worst judgment in the world. I mean, who else takes money out of the company, like, just thinks that's going to be all right, and uses it as hush money? He had everything. He had it all, didn't he? He had the dream job. He was in charge of WWE, and then for no reason whatsoever, just because he I don't know. I think did it get to him? Did the power get to him? Was it a case that, if you're that powerful and you can get away with those kind of things, you just get away with them? I don't know. He's given us some fantastic moments. He's one of, if not the most important people in the history of wrestling. But, my God. I mean, if ever you wanted proof that his judgment is, not brilliant at times, obviously everything that's played out this year is everything you need to know and more. So, yeah. I would say his booking of celebrities was even worse than the hush money. So, there we go. I knew that his judgment was off. I could have told you his judgment was off. Did you see how he booked flipping Bad Bunny and Snooki? Could have told you from the start it was a wrong one. Tyson Fury and McIntyre versus Roman and Cross makes more sense than Fury versus McIntyre 1-on-1. Let's wrap this up. I know I keep saying that, but let's wrap this up because I'm already 3 minutes over the 2 hours that I was not planning on doing. I was going to do an hour. We've doubled that and we've gone a little bit more. Eggman said, can someone answer my question? Is Karrion joining Drew and Roman at Clash? Is Karrion joining Drew and Roman? There's no word on that. There's no words on if Karrion is going to be there or not. I'm probably leaning towards not. Although Karrion could cost. He could cost him the title. And then there's a beatdown and Tyson Fury comes down. That is absolutely a way that it could end. So I don't think it's impossible or anything like that. I just think that I'm still sticking with I think Drew's going to win it. But if he doesn't, then absolutely Karrion could end up costing him the match, yes. I would love to see Samoa Joe come back, said Joe. Mr. DXZ said, I missed your predictions. Just go backwards. I mean, literally the first half an hour is just all of those predictions, so it's all there for you. And in fact, we're wrapping it up now anyway, so you'll easily get back to the beginning of this because we are sending this home. Right, we are done. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this sit down. I don't know that we could have gone any deeper into these predictions. I mean, we have really gone through, I feel like we've done every alternative theory going. So we have covered everything in these couple of hours. So really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the stream. We will be doing the Clash at the Castle watch along. And of course, we're back tomorrow for Raw as well. I want to go off and have a look at this staging for Clash at the Castle. That's what's on my mind. So I'm going to go off and do that. You go off and have a lovely evening, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.